Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night, and not only is it Thursday, but it is season finale time here at Area 51, here on Green White Checker TV, bringing you all the action of the Area 51 Superspeedway Truck Series from none other than the iRacing Superspeedway. The season finale is here. These drivers have been racing hard, and we've got a heck of a points battle going into this last race. Three guys really with a legitimate shot to get this championship, but it might take a lot. But first, let's kind of set you up here with the track facts. We're running 65-degree temperature here, ambient temp, with just a slight breeze. 75 laps will be the amount around the iRacing Superspeedway will be going here tonight. So definitely one of our longer races of the year, but man, these trucks are going to go fast, and that track temperature currently at 91 degrees. I look for that to climb as the race goes on. With me in the booth is none other than Gael Brooks. We're here to bring you all the action here tonight, and Gael, it's been a long season, but it all comes down to this. What are you looking for here tonight?
Yeah, it's I think tonight's going to be all about strategies. You have, if you're Gabe Butler, you have a 15-point lead, so you got a little bit of wiggle room, but do you play comfortable and play maybe a little bit cooler than you would if you were right in the thick of it? Because on Sunday night, it came down to pretty much who won the race, and it wound up being those two were the top two on track with nobody around them. So it was pretty much just a heads-up battle there at the end. And Zach Workman was actually able to snag that and get his first Area 51 championship, I believe. So, so Gabe didn't get that one. So I think he's going to be even more kind of eager to try to get this one here tonight. But again, battling teammates, he's going to have to try to hold off Eric Laurie, Kevin Freeze, and Eric put a dent in his championship lead last week at Talladega, had a great result, incident-free, got the win. Gabe got caught up in some stuff at the end, had some damage and some incident points, so no bonus points there. And we talked pre-race here, Maxwell. We were doing the math and trying to figure out, okay, what's it going to take for Gabe to be able to lock it up no matter what? Because there are a lot of bonus points available tonight. Obviously, the pole position, if they do go for that are the highest climbers, another option. And of course, then leading the most laps and going incident free. So there's a lot of points up for grabs here. So like I said, some of these drivers might have to mind their P's and Q's not to kind of shoot themselves in the foot here, to have a chance to kind of get that one hand on the title, but then to be able to grab that second hand at it. So it's going to be fun. Love to be able to do this with you again here before you let you free for a few weeks and get you behind the wheel here soon too. So yeah, it's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. Enjoying my time as a broadcaster, but also looking forward to kind of swapping out a little bit, taking a season to do some racing and just have some fun here in Area 51 myself. But before that, man, we've got this points battle. It is tight. So your top three are really who we're looking at as your contenders here tonight. Mathematically, there might be a situation where Seth Groover could be in it with Bud Steele, but honestly, I'm going to rule those guys out. I just don't think you're going to have Gabe Butler finishing dead last with no bonus points on the night. So definitely looking at that. So you have two different battles here tonight. You have the top three battling with a 16-point difference between the three. Eric Laurie 15 points back, Kevin Freeze 16 points back. But then 4th through 7th, I'm not going to say those positions don't matter, but just for pride purposes, a lot of these guys will probably want to say, well, if the best I can do is 4th, that's what I'm going to gun for. So really between Seth Groover, Bud Steele, Richard Sanchez, and Matt Wagner, it's just a 10-point difference between those four guys. So those guys will be gunning at each other, and their 10 points is something I think you could easily make up here tonight. So definitely got a couple different storylines we're going to have to follow here tonight. But these drivers are starting to wrap things up, and interesting right now, guy on the board, we're actually showing Matt Wagner as your current pole sitter, beating Gabe Butler and Eric Laurie for it. So none of those playoff guys may be getting bonus points here tonight.
Yeah, no, you're right with Eric Laurie and Gabe Butler. And so basically that also pretty much eliminates them for the highest climber award. And so then you roll down to Kevin Freeze, who has not put a qualifying lap in as of yet. So that opens up the door for maybe Kevin to steal a bonus point away and try to maybe again put him into the window here too. So And yeah, we were a little nervous about the car count here tonight, but we've had some really good late additions here at the very, very end. Really appreciate everybody hopping on here. Looks like it'll be just under 20 trucks here tonight, Maxwell, but it looks like we've just finished up qualifying. And like you said, Matt Wagner, man, he's been putting some heaters in qualifying here, and he's going to start on pole tonight.
Absolutely, and it is time to bring up that starting grid for you here. Remember, your playoff drivers are highlighted in green, and you will have one driver highlighted in pink. They snuck in during qualifying there, and I did not get the chance to change that guy else, so we'll have a random driver in pink, but that doesn't mean anything for you guys here at home. So, on the pole here tonight, and helping himself go for fourth in points, Matt Wagner getting that bonus point stole away from Gabe Butler in second. Eric Laurie trying to go for a championship here in third, and Jim Brooks with a strong qualifying effort there in the fourth spot. Dude Conrad, Team Bootknocker part-time driver here in Area 51, will start fifth with Patrick Groover putting that 0-1 there in the sixth spot. Josh Laston, in a little bit of controversy from last week, starting seventh, and Bud Steele there in eighth. Ninth position is none other than the 64 of Austin Call, looking for a strong end to his season. And Kevin Freeze looks to be starting 10th. So he's definitely going to have to make sure he moves up to the front to get that most positions gained. There's a lot of guys still in the back that could do it. Like this guy right here, Brian Wang, going to be starting 11th. And Seth Groover trying to go for that fourth position there in 12th. The rest of your starting grid is as follows. Ryan Decker is 13th, Vicente Guerrero 14th, Rudy Doden 15th, and Gary Winters 16th. Richard Sanchez in the 510 in 17th position, and Todd Siebels in 18th, Brandon Briggs 19th, and Dean Wilkinson rounding out the top 20. And that is all your drivers here tonight. So, Gael, as we see these drivers kind of ready to line up and kind of get going here as they do roll behind the pace truck, how do you think this first lap's going to be? If I remember correctly, last time we were here, we thought they would be calm, and I'm pretty sure we had a very early incident. And not only that, I think we had quite a few cautions the last time here. So, but we've also seen this race be one that goes pretty clean. So what do you think you're expecting here in the season finale race?
I mean, I would tend to lean, you would tend to think it's going to be calm and try to keep it clean to kind of just get everybody settled in there. But yeah, you don't know kind of what's going through. I'm saying actually it looks like last time by it was actually a pretty clean race. Only 2 cautions for 6 laps. I say I don't see when the cautions were, however, and then we're looking at the season opener of iRacing, or not opener, but actually 2 cautions there as well. So far in the 2 races this season at iRacing, we've been averaging 2 yellows, so we'll see if that trend continues or not. Don't worry, I'm not going to be doing any of the trends of the race. I don't have enough info at my disposal to do that. However, I was playing around with looking at points. I believe max points for tonight will be 48 points if you are able to, again, get either the highest climber or pole position, lead a lap, lead the most laps, win the race incident-free. So 48 is going to be the magic number, which actually kind of turns into 47 for Eric Laurie at this point, I would say. So you try to do the math and kind of go back I'm trying to figure out for Gabe, like, where's the worst he has to finish in order to lock up that championship. So math's never been my strong suit, Maxwell, but we'll keep an eye on it. I'll definitely be plugging the numbers as soon as we get the results in here. But before we get to that, though, we got to watch these guys go after it here tonight for one more time this season.
Absolutely. That pace truck pulls in one last time. And here we go. The front row is set. The season finale is ready to get underway. We thank you, fans, for joining us one last time. And now as the green is out, Matt Wagner will lead them down into turn 1. And these playoff guys are ready to go. And a quick lane change by Patrick Groover trying to get to the bottom, and it looks like Wagner's going to have a advantage being there on that bottom lane as these trucks get wound up in the corners.
Yeah, no, bottom lane is definitely where you want to be here to get things up to speed. And we'll see, though, Eric Laurie, though, he's leading that top side. He's going to pick up his partner, his teammate there of Gabe Butler. So say 1-2 in the points, kind of reversed, but we're 3x3 right off the bat there. You got the 0-2 pushing the 25 in the third lane. So they're going after it full tilt right off the bat.
Absolutely, and it is anybody's game as of right now. That third lane here at iRacing Superspeedway, really tough to run in the corners. The man down the straightaway would get a big run, but we got to see who's going to be the lap leader here at the start, and it's going to be Eric Lurie getting that first lap lead. But now the hard part, you got to see if you can defend against your two teammates, even though you want to help them. They're your rivals for the championship, and I hate to say it, but this is probably the race where you got to get a little greedy. I would be trying to make sure I lead the most and make sure they don't lead any.
Oh, trouble in the back.
Oh, we already do have a yellow and big hits going on back there. Oh, wow. Big
Jim
contact.
Brooks around also involved Kevin Free, so that's going to get rid of his incident-free attempt there. So that's going to change a lot of things. I'll have to have you go back and take a look at that, Maxwell, and see what happened here. But yeah, I think it just may have been unfortunate, maybe just a bit of a mistake.
Try to see what we can see here. Oh, it looks like your dad gets turned here as we'll watch that 51 truck. Oh, just big contact. We will have to go back and kind of see what happens here. A lot of different things going on, but Austin Call involved. You talked about it, the 25 involved.
Yeah, I'm watching Brian Wang as well. Oh, Brian gets a piece as well in the 07, so a number of trucks involved in this one. And yeah, as they went back and looked at it, it just looks like, unfortunately, the 51 just kind of came up a little bit more than he needed to on exit, and that's exactly where Kevin. Or maybe Freeze
Kevin
was.
Came down. If you really look at it, there, like, let's watch this one last time, and we'll put our focus on the 25. Just to double check, but man, it did kind of look like he could have come down just a little bit. Maybe I can get this is probably a good aerial view to have. Let's see what we can see. Jim's down there in that second lane. He's coming up, but so is Kevin. But look there, Kevin kind of comes and turns down a little bit, and they kind of just make contact. So I would say that is just pure racing deal. But from there, you're going to see exactly what happens. Oh, Seth Groover barely misses, but the 61 gets clobbered and comes down into Austin Call, and then Brian Wang down there in the bottom or mid left of your screen, just going to have nowhere to turn and go and just clobber him. But look at those two guys there, barely missing Kevin, and Kevin getting another piece there with Austin Call.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be probably a couple of fast pairs right off the bat for a handful of these guys. And I think a lot of trucks have just hit pit road. And saying strategy-wise, though, actually, Todd Siebel's opting to just not even hit pit road. He's just going to drive right on through here. He's going to net the lead of this race at the moment, as they peeking in the chat and saying, Seth and Patrick's mom chiming in. There's like, oh, this track. So, yeah, good to have you, Karen. And yeah, it is indeed this track here. And so far, I think your boys are still in the running here. I think they escaped too much drama on this one so far, but again, still lots of racing to go. But yeah, so no, that definitely changes the bonus points that we talked about. So unfortunately, Kevin Freeze, that's all he's got in that one. Actually, I'm looking at damage repairs, and yeah, it looks like actually severe damage for the 25, for the 61, as well as the 64, all what we call in iRacing the meatball flag, which basically means it's required repairs. So 9 times out of 10, that's probably going to be the fast repair taken for those guys.
Absolutely. And we do have to remember, Guile, Kevin Freeze chose not to qualify, wanted to go for that bonus point, and when doing so, man, you're taking a big risk at a track like this. It's big and wide, but you'll watch them in the corners really shoot up and just have a lot of things happen. So unfortunately, not the night Kevin Freeze is looking for, and interested to see if he's
may have had both of that take a tow, I believe, actually. He's rolling out of pit road now, but I believe Austin and Kevin may have had to take a tow, actually, because they've been on pit road for a really long amount of time here. So
and Kevin is indeed a lap down. So here comes some other guys coming and topping off again. Want to make sure we don't miss that. Hate to interrupt there, but see all these guys coming and topping off. Before the race, I was told 18.8 is the lap number. Down to those specifics, right? That's from the mouth of Gabe Butler himself, our mathematician here in Area 51. 18.8 is the average laps on fuel. He said you could stretch it to 19 if you're in the pack, but you're going to have to really try. So maybe these guys lap 5 of 75. Maybe they're seeing some sort of number they're wanting to hit here and seeing that it's important at this moment to get their fuel. But I also see Gabe Butler and some others taking tires at this point. Don't know if those were just unchecked or if they decided, hey, let's take them now so we'll have them for later. But definitely going to see Eric Laurie and Gabe Butler go to the back of the pack here. Interesting call on that part.
I wonder if that's conservation now at this point, seeing that big wreck early and saying, you know what, I'm not feeling too good about this. Let's go ahead and roll a little bit further back here because, like I said, you did have Todd Siebels that went ahead and stayed out, I should say, under this yellow, so he's netting the lead. But then I believe there were still a few ahead of them at that prior to the pit stop, like Matt Wagner and company. So maybe they said, you know what, since we don't have control of this restart, let's go ahead and roll on back here. I mean, they're going to be in good company out back. I mean, you see from about 10th on back, you've got Brian Wangs right there, Eric Laurie, Dude Conrad, Gabe Butler's right there. So, I mean, you've got 4 of the boot knockers all lined up lockstep here. And then they'll obviously be able to pick up Kevin Freeze as well, because actually he's in line right behind Gabe as well, albeit 1 lap down. So, as you see, there goes Patrick trying to catch back up to his spot in line here, because we're about to get back going again, and this time it's going to be Todd Siebels leading the way. And yeah, good to see you, Zach, and hopefully see you on track here and coming up next season, man.
All right, pace truck is in, resetting it for you. Todd Siebels up front, Matt Wagner in second, Richard Sanchez third, Josh Lashton fourth, and Brandon Briggs rounding out that top 5. But here in the restart zone, we're going to see Todd Siebels lead them, and he gets a decent jump there to the start-finish line. But Wagner got a tight pack on the outside. They might start building this momentum pretty early going into turn 1. And Austin Call, who was just in that wreck earlier, see him 4th in line on that outside. So definitely got a lot of action here going into turn 1 and 2. And look how tight that 11 and 09 are.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to lock onto each other and see if they can sneak away with this lead. And it looks like they're going to do exactly that and bring Patrick Groover along for good measure here. And for Austin Call, this is important for him too, because he needs to stay ahead of Kevin Freeze in case of a yellow. He would be the lucky dog, and there they go, top 3 able to clear that 45. They'll take the net lead of this race here. Austin right now still sitting as the first truck, 1 down. So the one we have to watch for that is going to be that 25 of Kevin Freeze, who right now is kind of mid-pack here. So right now still in Austin's favor at this point.
Absolutely. And, you talked about those top 3 clearing. Isn't it so amazing how all the different super speedway style tracks we go to, you're good just to clear 2 trucks, but here at iRacing Super Speedway, you get such big momentum in these trucks that you're able to clear so many cars. And, one way we're able to do that is by running super fast and putting a tracker here on the leader. Look at how fast these trucks click around here. And Gael, I know you were a part of the action, calling the action on Sunday. I mean, this is a major speed difference between those cars and these trucks, isn't it?
Yeah, no, these next gens definitely, they hit about 190 or so, say a far cry from the 230 pluses we see out of these trucks and the Xfinity cars. I say that just kind of adds to the excitement of what iRacing Super Speedway does. Is David O'Street chiming in there, saying, enjoying your camera work there, Maxwell. As he says, even makes iRacing Super Speedway look good. So definitely a love-hate relationship, I feel like, with this track. Maybe compared to the other playoff tracks, close there between the 02 and the 09 there. For again, close between the 02 and the 09 there. These guys are getting squeezy already with each other. And again, we're only on lap 8, so I think we have our answer about aggression. These guys are definitely going after it here as Kevin Freeze up top on his own.
Absolutely. Big wide aerial view of these guys rushing off into turn 3, and Kevin Freeze up top all on his own. He is trying his hardest to get up there to see if he can make it a lap back the hard way. But man, all kinds of action here tonight. And, we were worried about car count in this race maybe being a little bland if there was just a few, but with 20 trucks here, there's plenty of action all over this track.
Yeah, no, definitely. I said, we had some really, really good additions. And it wasn't even just getting bodies; it was getting really talented bodies. But Mom's probably happy but nervous right now because she's got her boys running in the top 4, leading that outside line with Patrick in front of Seth as they run. And I'd say it's been a little while since we've seen the Mario and Yoshi combination up at the very front. So hopefully they're able to continue that on here this evening. They'd love to finish this season out with a strong result. And then Brandon Briggs, I've been working with him a lot, talking with him, helping with some technical stuff, computer stuff. I think he's been started running VR recently too, so that's a big learning curve for him. But it looks like he's starting to get comfortable and starting to get a little bit aggressive here right off the bat. So definitely enjoy seeing Brandon start to dice it up with these guys as well.
Absolutely, and just looking a little further back, something I would like to do here is see if we can see what these drivers are going through here at this super speedway on board here with Gabe Butler, and just want to watch for a minute and see just how bouncy these trucks truly are through these corners. You see he's just riding in this outside lane, and we know they're just hanging out here in the back currently, but let's see if we can see some of these trucks kind of bouncing around a little bit. Big bump going in, and just you see them getting all sorts of squirrely and moving around, just snaking around this racetrack, Guile.
Yeah, no, it's for people that have raced in iRacing or just NASCAR games in general, I really kind of attribute this to almost like a crazy version of Dover because, again, way faster, obviously, but it's the way you enter the turns. You kind of drop into, Matt Wagner drifts up a little bit there on the entry, just able to keep off the 01, the 02.
See those kind of big wiggles.
Yeah, very big wiggles there. But yeah, they drop off into the entry, and then you kind of bounce up out of the turn. And it's not like other tracks where you kind of drive into the banking, whereas these, like I said, you kind of drop right into it. So that's what really makes this track very unique, as well as the way you enter and exit these turns. So, yeah, it's a challenge, especially when you're in the pack, like a little bit, let's say maybe around Josh Lassen or Vicente Guerrero, because you can't see much other than that truck in front of you. You want to focus on one of those guys actually here, maybe actually the 64 of Austin Cox. You can see there's not a lot of viewing angle that you have. You pretty much are going to see the rear spoiler, and that's it on these trucks.
Absolutely. You called it. Let's ride on board with this 64. Don't think we've given him just a ton of camera time like this on board. And you just see how fast they're truly trucking around here. This is all at 220 to 230 miles an hour, and it is a high-speed game of chess for sure. And believe it or not, these drivers right now look to be in just ride mode. This is not even them truly trying to race and go after it. So these are guys just trying to keep it calm and keep it quiet here after the big incidents. But, man, sometimes you've heard the expression, Gal, you got to race the racetrack. A lot of times I think that's the issue here. You really got to make sure you're prepared for those entries into 1 and 3.
Yeah, and that's what I'd be doing right now, what Bud Steele and Jim Brooks are doing. I'm a few car lengths back off that truck in front of me and just riding the inside line because, again, I feel like when you're on the outside, you're definitely more susceptible to getting kind of that truck to bounce off the apron and up into you. So I'd rather be the one making the mistake, as bad as that sounds, than being one that gets caught up in it. But yeah, so I say I like the strategy they're doing. They're just kind of just in the mid-pack, not falling too far back, while still being able to play it safe. And I do see Ryan Decker and Brian Wang just really, really backing it off, playing saves. I believe both drivers had to use their faster pairs there, so I think they're having to just go kind of full safety mode, if you will, right now.
Yeah, not in the championship hunt, only for the race win. They have zero reason to be up there leading laps or dicing it up. So, surprised some of our playoff guys didn't try to get up there and lead more laps because, you know, it's not just the most laps led between playoff drivers, right? It's the most laps led in the race, period. So for someone like Eric Laurie, this is him giving up an extra point that he could have on Gabe Butler. I'm kind of surprised. I'm not surprised because he's a pretty calm driver that likes to just hang out and be there at the end. But, man, I would have some added pressure to try to be getting up there and leading some laps here tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely a two-edged sword, like I said, because when you're up there, it gets super dicey. I mean, you can see right now the groovers are going after. Let's say actually kind of hung the brother out to dry. Oh, barely just squeezed in line. There was Matt Wagner to be able to lead that outside line still. But yeah, these guys are dicing.
There goes Vicente to the lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Vicente saw the momentum shift. He said, yep, I'll go ahead and take that push, as he's going to try to take the point here, get back around that 510 of Richard Sanchez.
Absolutely. They're side by side. And I think those groovers, they might have got a little warm, Gael, and it almost looked like that was just a high-speed game of switching. Just making sure, because it seems like they like to have the 0-2 leading and the 0-1 pushing. That seems to be their best lineup. So maybe just trying to get in line there for them two. But, man, they are making some big hay there. And speaking of making big hay, that third lane is trying to come in with none other than your championship people, Gabe Butler and Eric Laurie. They have now swapped positions. And if I'm Eric, I really want to be in front of that 88.
Yeah, you would think Eric would want to try to be in front of Gabe, but at the same time, I guess if there's something that's going to happen, at least keep a set of eyes, if you will, kind of on that guy that's right there with you. So I think, like I said, even though they're right up in the front here, I think they are definitely right now kind of just playing it a little bit easy. Matt Wagner calling out there. He's going to kind of drift up top here. He's going to roll back a little bit here. I think he's had all the fun he can have for a little bit and kind of regroup a little bit. And that's really shaking up this main pack. You can see now Kevin Freeze actually leading the middle lane, but no help still on that in that middle side.
And he's trying to get a lap back too.
In line, yeah. The problem is though, he's fourth in line. Yeah, he's still not the first truck one lap down. That's how good of a job Austin Call has been able to do here to have that position where he's at right now. So definitely hats off to Austin for kind of keeping that aggression up and not just sitting and riding, but he wanted to make sure he gets himself in that position because, again, you never know if and when a yellow could fall, and so he's not taking any chances.
Absolutely, and man, I mean, if you think about it, these are two drivers that definitely have a lot of speed trying to battle for this lucky dog position or even to get their lap back the hard way. So maybe if I'm Kevin, I would want to be pushing Austin Call out to the lead where I could at least be the lucky dog or vice versa. But right now you see that position change. He runs with the Groovers, but now the Groovers are going to maybe come low. They look like they were going to come low there for a minute, but kind of, and rooting Patrick out of the groove there is the 25 of Kevin Freeze. So very much getting dicey. I mean, I can see why Wagner maybe wanted to go back here. You got lap guys battling for the lucky dog right amongst the guys battling for the race lead. And Gael, I don't know what races you've been in, but anytime I've been in races like that, they typically don't end well as far as making it clean to the end.
Yeah, no, they're going after it pretty hot and heavy right off the bat here. And you mentioned the pit stops about 18 or so laps, and we're on lap 18 now. So, of course, had it started from green, they would be pitting probably this time by.
Todd Siebels might be one of those guys.
Todd's going to be the first one that's going to have to blink. The question is, will he have any friends to come in with him? I unfortunately don't see any TW Motorsports drivers in the Discord or in the server with him. I'm trying to peek on Discord. Yeah, he looks like he's rolling solo so far tonight. So, I think Todd's going to probably be the first one that's going to have to duck off, and he's actually starting to drop off the draft as well. So he's got to be careful not to lose too much time here. But yeah, I would expect to see big drift up to the top there. I think that was Gary Winters. I haven't talked about him yet. He had a little bit of a moment entering turn one. He's drifted up. Now he's going to slide right back to the middle as they want to make sure he didn't get put up into that third lane. These guys are making sure they hold everything they can. But, yeah, I would say in probably the next lap or two, probably lap 2021, I would say probably see trucks heading pit road here.
Yeah, big deal there for the 66 of Gary Winters. Kind of looking all over the place, but we'll have to watch that entry to pit road. We know Siebels will probably come down, and I'm afraid he'll be all alone when he does. But maybe he's back there doing fuel save and trying to really maximize that. He's making good fuel.
Yeah, so he's doing a good job. He's making good fuel numbers if he's still out here now because we're on lap 20. So definitely hats off to Todd, working the fuel number for sure. And while we were watching all that, though, look who's tailing lead lap, though, Kevin Freeze. He's found his way to the front behind Vicente. And I'm saying, I hear drivers starting to let each other in here to get to that inside line. So I think pit window's about to open here. And somehow, same thing, you blink, Gabe Butler sitting in third. I don't know when and where that happened, but he's right there.
And Eric Laurie still running that outside lane. So still a battle for the championship. But as of right now, as they run, definitely Gabe Butler going to gain points on his competitors thus far. So they're really going to need something to happen to Gabe Butler, and I hate to say that. But
Todd, yeah, here comes Todd rolling into pit road on his own, unfortunately. But sometimes it's not a bad thing. Maybe he can get a really quick entry and exit and then be able to kind of merge back to the leaders. So we'll see. If people pit this time, I think Todd still has a chance. However, if they can go 2 more laps, I'm a little bit more. I'll definitely be a lot more worried about Todd. But the fact that everybody's really dropping middle, I think means we're going to see pit stops here probably this time by. But so far, no calls out yet. Up here we go. Patrick Groover, first one to call pit road. So here we go. We're going to start to see some pit stops.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and put the camera on Patrick here and see who else might come down with him. See if it's just guys behind him or if it's going to be a whole slew in front of him coming.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a number of them. It looks like Josh Lassen's going to be the ones to lead him off, and here he comes.
Just a couple.
This, again, it's a big slowdown pack right here. They got to hope that they get down to speed and time, and I'll be spying on the black flags. And, yep, too fast entering Josh Lassen, too fast entering Seth Gruber. So those two are going to have a 40-second hold. That's going to mean that Patrick Groover is
Be all
stuck
by
on his
himself.
own on pit exit. As you see, the leader's gone by. Todd Siebel's there. So expect to see pretty much the rest of the field here to hit pit road this time around.
Absolutely. We'll see them get ready to come down, and this is why I don't like being the first one to blink. Okay, a couple guys got nabbed for speeding, so that means I've got to be even more careful than I was going to be on my pit entry. But with a whole slew of trucks coming in, racing off right here, it could be bad, and there is some sliding going on. But what? Oh, almost had it saved, but there is going to be incident there on pit road. These guys definitely locking up, and I feel like a couple guys might be getting some black flags. They really had them locked up there at the line.
Yeah, actually, I think the only one that got caught speeding there is Brian Wang in the 07.
That's who I was looking at right there.
I don't know how that 510 though of Richard Sanchez was able to keep that truck in one piece and stay away from a penalty. So great job by him. And now everybody's trying to get into their pit stalls and not sit on top of each other there.
And there just now goes the 09 and the 02.
Yeah, pretty much a full lap lost, unfortunately. So that leaves just a few drivers left to pit, which I believe is being led by Bud Steele and Ryan Decker. So we'll watch them. They're, I believe, yeah, here they come. They're going to come in a lap later. Jim Brooks actually coming in with them as well. So they're going for the long haul here, trying to see if they can go a little bit deep. And looks like all clean. No penalties for those three that just entered pit road. So it looked pretty quick, but they were able to get it woe down just in time.
Absolutely. So as they come down to get into their pit stalls, we'll go back to where we think the race for the lead is going to be here, with Vicente Guerrero having a great stop and Kevin Freeze now behind him, which means Kevin Freeze is back to one lap down again. So going to be a battle to see if he can get that lap back, but we're already coming to start this next time by lap 25 of 75, so almost a third of the way through already, Gael. If Kevin's going to get it back, he's probably going to need a caution and pretty quick.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because, like you said, then there's also those drivers that got kind of trapped there on the pit stop penalties. So once we get everybody cycled through, I'm going to watch to see what what laps times these guys are running. I think that's going to be the telltale as well because, like I said, there's the two trucks here, but I think those three behind them of Austin Call, Eric Laurie, and Richard Sanchez. Great job by Richard actually to get back up there. They see him just get by Jim Brooks there, and then they're about to catch. There goes those two right there of Bud Steele and Ryan Decker. So they are going to clear him, but I think I kind of like what Ryan and Bud did here. I think they should be able to tag on to these five. But yeah, so that lucky dog battle though is about to start once again because here comes that 64 and the 25. Right now, they're
going to have a big run. They're going to have to take it outside. Or yep, maybe he stayed in line. I am really surprised, especially being able to race with Austin outside of Area 51, that he did not take that massive amount of momentum and try to go to that outside, especially since that was a battle to get on the lead lap. So maybe Austin's thinking of a fuel number and just wanting to ride behind here. Maybe,
yeah, or just look behind Austin, it's another boot knocker truck, so he's thinking, hey, that's Eric Loria. He's probably not going to work with me too. So and then here comes the next group of trucks just caught back up. Dude Conrad, Matt Wagner, and Gabe Butler. So great job by those three. And then we'll see. It's going to be tight between Bud Steele and Ryan Decker if they can catch or not. But right now, yeah, Vicente Guerrero is our leader. So, and so I'm going to try to keep an eye on lap times. Actually, last time by, Matt Wagner had the fastest lap of the race at a 46:37. Right with Dude Conrad and company. And I think Bud and Ryan are going to grab there. And actually, Ryan Decker that time by, he ran a 46:26 to put a new fastest lap of the race. And here comes some of those guys. Look at that 8 truck there of Dude Conrad. He's starting to creep into the mix here. I say he's actually net third place right now, about to become second. But again, with these lap trucks, it's showing him, you see him about 4th or 5th in line there. So, and yeah, there's Bud and Ryan. They catch back up. And then you got to go 9 seconds back pretty much here, Maxwell, before you pick up Jim, Patrick, and Brandon. And then we kind of got that big kind of stretch of trucks here that kind of always have that pit road miscue. And actually, here's Vicente. He says he's given up some spot. I think he's thinking fuel mileage too here, just like we talked about, Maxwell. So that's going to actually now we got to have 2 lap down trucks leading. So tail in the lead lap here until Dude Conrad has something to say about it.
And at this point, them two have nothing to do but work together to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. That's what my goal would be if I was them two. I wouldn't try to race it out, but obviously if they go back 1 lap down, then yeah, they've got to try to play the track position game. But definitely interesting here at the front let's go back there to the 9th position and check out this this second group. We've seen 3 trucks be able to be pretty quick, and watching the ticker here, I mean, they're kind of matching pace of that whole front pack, just staying steady, not really gaining much, not really losing though, and if anything, starting to go in the right direction for them, but 9.5 seconds back, that's a lot of time to try to make up on track, so definitely going to need a yellow to get them back in it, but another 7 seconds back from them is going to be this group here. They are 16 seconds off that lead pack, and they are actually losing time. They are not pushing effectively right now, and it is showing on the ticker. Where that other group of 3 is gaining time, this group is not. And, I mean, they seem pretty lined up, but they're definitely wiggling a lot. You can really see that that's scrubbing quite a bit of speed. If they can get lined up and really push, I think they would start making some of this time up. But, again, they're going to need a yellow. And then way back here, your guys that, for lack of better words, blew it on pit road. You see the leaders behind them. They're not too far away, but they got Brun, Wang. They're going to try to help them out. They're in a group of 3 to themselves, and that's really a strong group of trucks. The lead pack might actually have trouble catching them, if I'm being honest. They seem to be matching pace with that lead pack. If they're losing, it's just ever so slightly. I mean, the ticker on Josh Laston, they're holding pretty stout within 100th of a second. So,
yeah, no, they're fast right now, like you said, because actually some of the fastest laps this last time by were those 3 packs of trucks. Jim and Patrick running 47.06, Josh and Seth and them 47.05, and then Dude Conrad's a 47.19, so about a 10th and a half quicker for the trio, if you will, of trucks, because they're just pushing, they're being aggressive. But you're right though, if they get a little closer, they might start to sniff the draft of those 3 in front. That's going to really boost the speed of that lead pack. And as soon as I say that, I think it's exactly what's about to happen, because this time by Duke Conrad to the 46.92, one of the first ones in the 46-second brackets here recently. So I think they're starting to just get a little bit more speed here, get a little bit more draft. But yeah, I'm a little surprised though. Like you said, with Austin and Kevin there, they had it for a moment. Now Kevin is in that lucky dog spot. I saw almost, if I was Austin or Kevin, like, hey, why don't we run 2x2? But keep them pinned together. And actually heard Seth Groover chime in right now, just saying that he got loose that last time around. So maybe these guys trying to make some aggressive pushing possibly. But yeah, I mean, it's what's going to happen though, Maxwell, is we're going to pretty much blink, and it's going to be time to hit pit road here. I think actually in about the next 10 laps or so.
Absolutely, and it seems like a lot of these guys have kind of gotten in their rhythm, gotten calmed down. The packs are split up, which means this lead pack, the smaller you get this lead pack, the less aggressive of moves I think you can make, because it just makes it harder to maneuver around and get the big runs you're looking for. So definitely going to have trouble with that, but why don't we take a moment to kind of go through the field, at least for your top 10 here for sure. So Dude Conrad in a part-time ride for Team Bootknocker is leading in that black number 8, doing everything he needs to do. And Matt Wagner getting ready to try to battle, it looks like, but had too big of a run, going to have to regroup here. But man, Matt Wagner has one mission, I think, in this series, and that is to get the W. He wants to get it. He wants to win in this series, and right now he's dropping to the back to maybe take a break here, but definitely look for him toward the end of this race to be super aggressive with not much to lose. I don't think 4th in points is going to matter to him. But then you got 3rd place here, or now 2nd place, I'm sorry, with Gabe Butler, and he is just quietly there, right? And with Kevin a lap down, he's probably going to try to work with Kevin, knowing he's not really a threat for the championship right now. So, and them two together have equaled a lot of race victories. So Team Bootknocker lined up 3 abreast there on the bottom. And another Team Bootknocker guy right there behind Austin in the lap truck, Eric Laurie, doing everything he needs to be doing, nipping at the heels of Gabe Butler, but he really needs to be ahead of him, and he really needs to be leading laps. So we'll see if he gets aggressive after the next pit stops here. Bud Steele, he's going to be running there in the 4th spot, and I like what he did with his driver picture there. Kind of threw up a little bit of a sponsor plug, it looks like. So definitely nice way to get the word out. And then you've got Richard Sanchez, who's had a couple of rough weeks back-to-back. having a solid run here in the top 5. At this point in the race, the last 2 weeks, he was wrecked and at least 1 lap down, if not 2. So definitely things looking up for him, and he's in that battle for 4th in points. So him and Wagner and a couple other guys definitely going after it there for that points. 6th place, quietly running here after, I believe he was in that first incident, but definitely made the pit stops matter here. Got himself up in that 6th position there in the 61. Ryan Decker there running. And we've already talked about Wagner. He's back to 7th and 8th place. Right behind him is Vicente Guerrero, just trying to manage that fuel, manage those temperatures, kind of just stay in the back here and ride till these next pit stops. 9th place, it's Daddy-O for you, Gael. Jim Brooks there in the Area 51, number 51, running there in the 9th spot. Still, they were 9 seconds off. Now they've just slowly lost time. They're about 11 seconds off now, so probably a couple laps that they didn't push too good. Definitely showing up. And then Patrick Groover there, rounding out your top 10. Quickly going through some of these other guys. Brandon Briggs, he is in the 11th spot. Rudy Doden on further back in 12th. Gary Winters in the 13th position. 14th is Todd Siebels, and we know about his pit stop there at the beginning, just not looking too well for him. 15th, Josh Laston there. They are just trying to survive at this point, aren't they? Just trying to stay on the lead lap. So definitely trying his best. And Brian Wang here in 16th doing the same thing along with the last driver on the lead lap, Seth Groover. So Kevin Freeze and Austin Call obviously have the chance to get tail end of the lead lap, but they have been in that front pack. So as we go back to the action, probably getting close to pit stops, I would say here, Gael. And yeah, this tells the tale, doesn't it? They're all single file lining up on the bottom.
Yeah, I think it's a combo of pit stops looming, and then also if I'm in the top 8, I'm like, you know what? I don't really need to force the issue right now because we've got that pit stop coming up, and it's one of those things, maybe it's like, hey, if I can nail this next pit stop, that's going to maybe drop a few other trucks out of this pack, and maybe then we'll even have a smaller pack of trucks to have to contend with, and if we go green, less guys that have to try to fight for the win. So there's definitely some strategy behind not being too aggressive right now. Like I said, also maybe saving a little bit of fuel, and even if it's not to go a lap later, but maybe it's just to shorten your pit stop, whereas I could easily see this top 8 of trucks here decide, you know what, we want to pit together because we don't want to let somebody get a really good in and out lap and then we get kind of caught hanging. So I would keep an eye on that as definitely a potential strategy, because even the pace has slowed down a little bit now. We're right now running in like the 47.30s or so compared to earlier where we were running 47.0s, even high 46s some laps. So the pace has definitely dropped a little bit, and I think again that's just everybody starting to get comfortable, get in that rhythm, and just knowing like, hey, it's about to be time to jump onto pit road. And yeah, like you mentioned though, for Todd Siebels, unfortunately, it was just he had to hit pit road on his own, and it was too many laps between when he pitted and came out to when the rest of the field did, and that just kind of did him in. So I'm also looking at some of the pit stop times. I think the most aggressive on pit road was actually Richard Sanchez. He had a 9-second pit time. Everybody else was in the 11-12 second bracket. So Richard definitely went on the aggressive on the pit road, and I mean definitely paid off because he's in this main pack. So definitely have to keep an eye, make sure he didn't underfill his truck. That's the only concern I have, is maybe he's gonna have to come in before these guys. But right now, looking good. I said that whatever he did on that pit stop is very solid.
Absolutely. Got himself up there in that running order, right where he needs to be in the top 5. So pit stop number 1 separated a lot of these guys. And now those packs of 3 are really going to have to do what they can to stick together, right? But what about this front pack? Do you think they're all going to be able to come out and stay together, or do you think we'll see even more separation after this front pack pits? Because it seems like in the past, as this lead pack has went on throughout green runs like this, they just get farther and farther and farther apart as far as breaking up.
And we're about to find out, because Patrick just called he needs to hit pit road. Todd Siebels just hit pit road, and then Richard Sanchez said he needs to pit as well. But my concern for Richard is nobody else said they're coming in that main pack. So I think Richard, we talked about, maybe underfield that truck, and sure enough, here he comes by himself, first of the leaders. So yeah, pit road's about to be a very busy
and making sure he didn't speed there.
Oh, he did. He did. Speeding on entry there, got a black flag, so that's going to be a stop and holds for him as
And we
well.
just talked about the great race he was having.
Contact in the back here, the 63, 10, and 51.
Trying to find them here. Oh, yeah, there definitely is contact as they were coming into pit road. We might have to go back and see what happened after all the pit stops are completed, because right now we stay green, and I would hate to miss any of these other pit stops here, but definitely not the pit those guys wanted. We talked about those packs of 3 needing to stay together. That was not what they needed. And Muff said it right when he said, ouch.
Ouch, indeed. And yeah, I say that.
Oh, speaking of ouch. Oh, they're still around over here.
So now people are, and here comes that whole lead pack coming all together here, Maxwell.
And I couldn't tell with focusing on Patrick there if there was any of them that had.
No, we're good. Everybody had a clean entry in this lead pack, so good job by all of those 8 leaders, and also the 64 and the 25. Now it's hitting their pit stall. But yeah, no, tough break for Patrick. But now, yeah, everybody's just got to nail their marks here. Not speed on entry, or I should say not speed on entry, but also now not on exit. We'll see where everybody cycles out here in just a moment.
Absolutely. Kind of crazy to see all that action. And are you as surprised as I am that 01 was still not fixed after watching these other trucks come a whole half lap around the track? Seemed like he should have been going.
Yeah. I think there was a bit of a like kind of a conveyor belt of trucks coming in, so I think he was just trying to kind of be extra cautious there, which is unfortunate for him because it cost him so much time. However, though, you see Gabe got a great pit stop and a really good exit out of 1 and 2, actually able to gap that number 8 truck there of Duke Conrad. The truck I'm looking for, I'm not seeing this main pack, and that worries me, and that is Eric Laurie. And, oh, Eric's got significant front end damage. I'm not sure what happened to him here. It looks like actually leaving pit road. Oh, yeah. Oh, caution's out. This is going to change everything.
Oh, wow. Yellow is out. We see Eric's damage, but trying to find where this yellow might be.
I think it may be.
Did it have something to do with Brandon Briggs trying to get on pit road? It seemed like he was really slow.
I think it may have been Patrick Groover. I'm not 100% sure because I see him off track. I'm going to cycle around and try to find it.
Yeah, we're going to try to load this up for you here too, folks. Let's see if we can watch from Patrick Groover and see exactly what happened here to bring out our second yellow of the evening. Oh, he's already in the grass, so let's go backwards here and kind of see what might have caused this. Man, is he just like having a heyday here or what? Okay, so it looks like coming off of pit road here. We're just going to watch this at full speed, I think, because I think this is going to show us everything we need. Just trying to maximize that pit road. Oh, and just gets loose right there and does come up onto the track. But typically with iRacing, if other vehicles aren't around, it doesn't always cause a yellow. But I'm going to assume that was indeed what the yellow was for.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it probably detected Eric Laurie on his way there because Eric was also coming out of pit road on the apron. So I think that definitely threw the caution on that one. Although you mentioned, though, I just saw Brandon Briggs disconnecting as well. So obviously something. I mean, we saw the pit road contact with Brandon. Not sure if there's anything additional to it. But, man, just, yeah, crazy one here tonight, though. And this is definitely, I mean, this is a saver for sure for a lot of the drivers here. I will have to wait for timing and scoring to open to see who's a lap down and who not. Pretty much all the leaders are on pit road getting service, some more fuel in their trucks. I'm working on the timing and scoring here. Sorry, Maxwell.
Some of these guys might be able to take the wave around, though.
Yeah, so I think Kevin Freeze. Yeah, so Kevin Freeze, Lucky Dog, and I think Austin sounds like he's going to stay out and take that wave around.
Yeah,
on the 1 to go.
Absolutely, but the rest of these guys coming in and topping those fuel cells off, and may even top them off with the 1 to go because we're at lap 43 of 75. See. They would still have to make one more stop, but you know what they're really going to try to do? I think they're going to try to come in with the 1 to go, top these tanks off, and save because they want to maximize this next run to make the last pit stop have only 1 can of fuel go in.
Yeah, so we'll have to definitely look at that one for sure. And sorry, I'm kind of playing a little bit of admin here in the back as well, trying to make sure had some odd penalties for drivers, so we're trying to make sure everybody gets cleared up there.
Absolutely. Well, while you're handling that, we can try to get everything reset here. And matter of fact, we may go ahead and just take a quick break while we've got such a big track to go around. Pit stops complete. Gabe Butler is your leader, and we'll reset everything for you when we come back. You're watching Green White Checkered TV. All right, we are back here at Green White Checker TV, Area 51 Superspeedway Truck Series here at the iRacing Superspeedway, working our second caution, going into turn 3 and getting ready for that pace truck to pull in. Couple guys stopping under the 1 to go to get that little bit extra fuel like we talked about. So now it's time to reset it for you, because the pack does look a lot different here. Bud Steele now is your leader in the 10, with Vicente Guerrero in second. Jim Brooks will be third, Matt Wagner fourth, and Rudy Doden in your top 5 as the pace truck pulls in. We are getting ready to go back under green, ending the second caution period we've had, and setting up some interesting strategy going into the rest of this one in our season finale here on Area 51. All right, excuse me, I'm sorry. The green is out. Yeah.
That was a good start by Vicente there. And yeah, there's a little bit of confusion there. I think some drivers that had topped off, some drivers actually were just probably getting maybe either damage repaired or just longer pit stops. Gary Winters, Rudy Doden, and so they were trying to get themselves lined up correctly. And so it got a little sketchy there for a moment, but everybody nailed everything there. Unfortunately, we do have one pending penalty to go that's going to have to be served, and that is going to be the number 61 of Ryan Decker had an unsafe pit entry. He's actually, I think, serving it now. So he's hoping for a quick yellow, because right now I believe we have the field back on the lead lap here, Maxwell, as Austin Call took the wave around. Kim Freeze got the lucky dog. So we still have one more pit stop to go in this one, and it'll be interesting to see kind of when that strategy is going to be. But yeah, right now Vicente and Matt, though, leading the way.
Absolutely. Before I kind of had a coughing spell, excuse me for that. Notice that the outside lane really got the jump right on it. I don't think it was a jump start, but man, Bud Steele just did not roll into that gas when the green came out as much as Vicente did, and he brought Matt Wagner with him. They made that outside lane work, and they got themselves the lead here. So a lot of non-playoff guys are the ones really showing up and showing out here, or it's the guys that are not our main title contenders here tonight. A lot of them off in the back. Our first title contender looks to be all the way back in the 14th position. 14th, 15th, and 16th.
It's very mixed up right now. Yeah, you got Gabe, you got Eric Laurie, and then Kevin Freeze actually the furthest up of those. And unfortunately, we mentioned obviously that the issue that Eric Laurie had. Looks like he actually opted to keep his damage repairs manually, not use that fast repair. So the other thing that costs Eric is no incident-free race. So that's going to give Gabe Butler even less worries now because he's still incident free, but he's got to be a little bit cautious still. Of course, still a lot of racing to go, still a lot of drivers left on the lead lap as well. So I mean, he's not taking anything for granted, but he's definitely in a more comfortable spot knowing that his opposition cannot gain 3 extra points on him for incident-free race.
Absolutely. Kind of these two guys chasing, not really doing what they need to do to get it done. And I don't want to say they're giving it away to the 88 there, but they definitely seem to be doing so. So it's going to be Gabe's race to lose. He's going to have to beat himself, I think, to lose this championship. It's not locked up, but it's mighty close. So especially now since he has indeed led a lap in this race, I believe. So definitely, if he gets, which I don't think he will, but if he got the most laps led bonus point, that would give him even more of a buffer. But for now, most of the bonus points going to Gabe Butler there, and he's just kind of cruising around here, right? Definitely just making his way around and keeping it safe at this point. He has no reason with all his contenders back there to try to get up in this mess up front.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point for him to do anything like excessive or just dangerous, really. So we do have 2 trucks a lap down. That's Patrick Gruber and Ryan Decker. However, Patrick is in this main pack. Ryan is kind of off on his own, unfortunately, and will be put down 2 down when the leaders catch him, as he's kind of off on his own. But what this yellow did, though, is it really shook up the running order. I mean, look up front here. We talked about that 66 of Gary Winters being in that 3rd lead pack, and now here he is fighting for the lead there in that number 66 Black Diamond truck. So that timing of the caution, everything worked out perfectly for these guys, and he's going to try to take full advantage of it. And also, of course, brings Kevin Freeze back on the lead lap, having given him a chance to go for the win now instead of fighting for that lucky dog. You see Brian Wang, he started to kind of ramp up his aggression as well. So a few new faces up in the front right now. You see 66 has cleared, but he's going to stay middle here. I think he likes that push that he's been getting from that 09 of Josh Laston.
Absolutely. And you talk about Kevin Freeze being back on the lead lap. Pretty sure he's in a great spot with that 07 of Brian Wang right on the bumper. Nothing to lose and everything to gain. And yeah, it's getting tight here. 3 wide up front. The 66 is wiggling around. Oh, and almost a door smack to the 09 of Josh Laston. A little bit of drama last week. Might have a bit of hurt feelings lingering over into this one. But man, these guys are not holding back. And we're just now getting ready to hit the 2/3 mark of this race. So down to the last third of the race. 25 to go now on the ticker. But 25 to go is still a long time around this track.
Yeah, so it's over a full fuel run, and yeah, I mean, and that's something that you see right there. That's what you can't take for granted. You think you're in that second lane, but then you drift up a little bit too high, and you open up that opportunity. And there was a lane and a half there. So I mean, Kevin saw it, and he said, "Well, I got momentum. I can go down there." So he went ahead and took advantage of it. Obviously, we can't say what's in these drivers' heads because we don't know. We don't know what's in our own heads half the time when we're racing, Maxwell. But yeah, I mean, it could be like, hey, I remember we had issues last week, so I don't want to push that guy. I want to get around him. So that could have been the situation. We could be making more out of it than there was, and versus just saying, hey, if there's a gap there, I want to get some track position. Here we go. So yeah, definitely a lot of potential now, and definitely got to give a shout out to Chris Matthews. He's popped in here as well. Hope you are doing well, sir, and look forward to racing with you. And that was a close call there. 60, you saw he drifted off the bottom. Kevin thought about giving it, but he decided to roll out of there and give him the spot back. But when it comes closer to the end of this race, you cannot do that. You got to hold that middle lane as tight as you can, or else that's exactly what's going to happen. That
was almost caution number 3 of the evening. Definitely, as you were talking, I was watching that, and about like you, I was like, ooh, it's close. But definitely that 66 kind of taking a wide exit off these corners, and people will end up taking advantage of him with that. So he's definitely going to have to watch what he's doing here and make sure he's careful about what line he's running and making sure he keeps in his lane. And that's something we haven't talked about much here tonight for the iRacing Superspeedway, how important it is to stay in your lane.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And you can see it around the track. You see these seams that are kind of basically kind of designed as the lane, as you see right there. He got off the bottom or middle, I guess you could say, in this one, and that allowed the 25 to go on by. Brian Wang's going to follow through, as is the 02 of Seth Gruber. And that's exactly it. Like I said, you got to be a little bit aggressive, because at a track this wide, yes, you have lots of room to drift up, but the problem is, like you said, unless you know you've got a driver committed behind you, like right here, so should someone choose to, that O2, he could squeeze the middle there because there was room there for a moment to kind of hit the middle between those two. So there's definitely that risk versus reward. Of course, you never want to really pinch the guy next to you because you just worry about any issues. Ooh, Seth had a big bobble there. Yeah, so you have to be very careful about that, and of course on the inside too, you have to make sure that you're kind of holding your lane on exit as well. So it's only going to ramp up here from this point.
Absolutely, it's definitely going to get more and more dicey, especially now that we've added more and more players onto the lead lap, like Kevin Freeze, who is trying to get up here and get a lap lead. And who knows, if he could try to get up here and lead the rest of them, he could push leading the most laps. We've had quite a few different leaders here tonight, but it would be a tall task, I believe, to try to get all of those. But he is up to the challenge, I believe, as he is getting that push from Brian Wang. And I don't know that fuel is too much of an issue for this 25. I think he's looking for just as much bonus points as he can possibly have.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. Yeah, definitely want to at least get that one bonus point for a lap lead. And the question you mentioned is, yeah, I'm not 100% sure on Gabe if he has. No, yeah, Gabe, I believe, has led a lap. So, yeah, definitely want to match that for sure. And right now, it's really just those top 5 that are really kind of, or top 6, I should say, that are kind of right on each other. Then everybody's kind of spaced themselves out a little bit. They're just kind of, I think, waiting for that last pit stop. And this is going to be the question mark here, Maxwell, too, is I think at this point in the race, do you pit when you're in your window, or do you wait and pit late? Because I believe you will get lapped here at iRacing Superspeedway, pitting under green flag conditions. So there is a risk versus reward here of early versus late. So it'll be interesting to see what the strategy is on that one. And also had a question about if we have an official beverage, and I don't believe we do. We haven't got that big yet. Right now, pretty much my official beverage during broadcasting has been water. So nothing exciting there on my half here, but. Yeah, we're getting to that window though, because this time by is gonna be 19 to go, and Gabe mentioned it was, what was it, 18.8 miles or laps of fuel. So next time by, they should be in their window should they choose to gamble.
Absolutely, and I think they want to stretch this run. If you want my honest opinion, I think if you stretch this run, you really give yourself the opportunity not only for a green, white, checkered, but to make sure that you only have to take one can of fuel instead of 2. You really want to make sure you're within that window that you're only having to take a can. So, and maybe if they get right here in their window, they could do that. That's something else to think about, but you might even want to see how much can I save on this run to make it where I can really run to the finish.
Yeah, there's really 2 trains of thought, like you said, where you can save now and then put more in or put less in later, or basically pit as soon as you're in your window and you can make it to the end, but maybe you have to take that little bit extra fuel in that process. So right now, and I think I'd be doing this right now. And the other thing too is, you look at the ticker on the left, there's about a 2-second gap from the lead to the last driver on the lead lap here. So I don't want to be pitting right now if I'm about those 2 seconds back, like Eric Laurie and Jude Conrad and company. I want to be pitting from maybe about the top half of the field, maybe half a second off the lead, something like that at the absolute most. So it looks like Kevin and Brian have kind of had to fall back a little bit, regrouping a bit. So we'll have to wait and see kind of strategy-wise on that one. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some thoughts here. And I'm watching that second lane. I think they decided to drop the hammer here. I think I just heard first truck coming in here, 1688. They're going to short pit here. So watch for those 2 to hit pit road this time by.
Absolutely. We'll see kind of what happens here. See if we can catch things and don't. Nope. Yep, right here. See these 2 guys. They are definitely down pit road going for the fill it up from here and run it on out. But I don't see boot knocker guys down, and they are the kings of strategy, right? So if they're staying out, it makes me think option 1 may be what they want, but watch them prove me wrong by coming down the next lap or the lap after.
Yeah, say Austin called out. He's got a pit this time. Looks like Jim Brooks is coming in this time. And I think for Austin, it's because he has to. Remember, he took the wave around. Bud Steele's going to hit pit road as well. So we're starting to get some more takers. 61's coming in. So we're starting to get a few more takers on this one. So we'll see how it shakes out. So you'll see Bud and Jim come from the front. Austin right behind them. And this is going to be where those other trucks that are staying out, this is where they really want to hustle these trucks and get as much time and speed as they can. Still no penalties on any of these drivers hitting pit road, so they got 4 trucks together. and that is now going to cycle things back to up front still with that 510 of Richard Sanchez. Seth Groover already calling that he's going to be in. Todd Siebel's coming in this time around. So, yeah, the window is definitely starting to open for all these leaders.
And these guys pitting in small groups is playing right into the hands of Bootknocker if they can all pit together. So, but, you know, I got to give a shout-out. Kudos to Austin Call for taking that wave around because he's still having to make the same pit stop that everybody else is. He might be having to add more fuel, but at least he is still getting to pit and only having to make one stop just like everybody. But here comes the 510 and the 14 getting real slideways, I like to call it, as they head into pit road. 5 of them, and seems like they
Richard
all
again.
Oh.
Richard got caught. He was too fast one side. It looked like a really quick entry. You could see the gap he built on Vicente. It was too much of a gap. He's going to have another stop and hold here. So the rest of the guys, they are good to go. They had a clean entry, no penalties there. And I already see the Bootknocker starting to call their pit stops, as are Matt Wagner and Josh Lassen and company. So this should pretty much complete the green flag cycle of pit stops here, coming to 14 to go this time by. Watch for the 11:09:25 and company to hit.
Maybe this whole little pack of 7 cars here are going to pit.
Yeah, I think they will. And to say one thing that is interesting to note, though, is you see Jim and them, they did not get lapped there. So they were able to stay ahead, though. But yeah, here they all come on the pit road. Now they got to make sure, Gabe is hustling it. And he is good. No penalties for this group here. So everybody's good other than Rick was the only one getting a pit road penalty. Oh, no, Eric Glory, at the last moment, he actually just popped up on the timing screen. Eric with a stop and hold for the 071 car. That is going to be a tough one to overcome this late in the going.
Absolutely it is. Not what you want to see here going for a championship. But, hey, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose them, but this is the pit stop that matters. So right now, theoretically, these are your first guys on track to have they're not really in the lead yet, but they're coming around to try to get it. But look at the big run from Jim Brooks and the 61 there, and Austin Call with them. Austin Call, for having to take more fuel, did not really lose a whole lot of time there. Really impressed with that 64. Thought he might be off by himself the way the pit stops could have happened, but man, I think he's going to be able to be in the thick of it. But here comes that team Bootknocker and others coming off pit road. Will this other pack have enough momentum to catch them?
Yeah, so now the question is, how quick can these guys get to them before they get fully up to speed? Right now, Jim's going 227 miles an hour, 195 for Kevin Free, so about a 30-mile-an-hour swing. But it's starting to get wide here, so Jim's going to
we're going to look at the blimp view to watch this action. There's so much going on. I wanted to make sure we caught it, and look at that blimp view getting all of it. A huge pack here again, and now it's the race to the finish with only 13 to go, 4 wide.
Oh, my goodness, and great heads up there by Josh Lassen. Had to roll the brake there to make sure he did not wreck. Oh, my goodness, Seth Groover right in the back of Jim Brooks there trying to squeeze, and now we're 3 wide once again. I say it's looking great behind Jim for him. Everywhere else, though, it's a hornet's nest right now.
Well, you jinxed him.
It's time. Well, he's still happy. I mean, he still got out there, but man, I say, yeah, now he's got to regroup and build up his energy once more. And here goes the 14 of Vicente. He's gonna really want that win as well. But yeah, we've got a lot of guys gunning for this top spot.
And look at this, Austin Call, after having to take the wave around, into the second position after pit stops. I would say he's your biggest mover from the restart we had till now. Those pit stops are great for him, and they are still getting antsy in this pack.
Yeah, slight contact off exit by the 51 and the 02 really hurt the 02, unfortunately, there. He's still okay. He's good to go still. It's like no damage or anything like that. And also, look at this, though. Todd Siebel's, he's still in the thick of this thing as well. So, but look where Gabe Butler is. He's given himself a couple of truck lengths here. He's like, you guys go ahead here. I'm going to wait a little bit before I really go after it, because he knows he's in the thick of this thing still. So, yeah, right now, though, look at Duke Conrad, though. Now he's put himself to the point from help from that 25 of Kevin Freeze. So now it's just going to be all about that strategy. As Brian just clears Vicente there as he got a Bootknocker 1, 2, 3 now.
Absolutely, and at this point, everybody's going to get racy. And you know that 14 hadn't had a win all season long. Really going to try to get one here tonight. Been in position over and over and over and over, and something just always seems to happen. But definitely getting the push from Todd Siebel is going to see what they can do with this big run they're getting. And that third lane also trying to form up at the bottom, man. Team Bootknocker is strong right now.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to build the momentum on the second lane. Honestly, though, I think At iRacing, I think the lane you're going to want to be in to win this race is going to probably be that middle lane. It's where you really build your momentum. But I think right now, again, I think they kind of got that excitement out of their system. Said, okay, deep breath, regroup, and let's kind of strategize how we're going to try to go for this win here. So I do believe Austin Call's been working with Jim Brooks and Bud Steele and Ryan Decker. So they got to try to get themselves back together. I would definitely not be surprised to see Todd Siebels try to work with those guys as well. But he could be kind of wild horse. You don't know where he might officially go. Same thing for Vicente. And then, of course, you got Seth Gruber, who will go anywhere with anyone. Matt Wagner's kind of in the same boat. Josh Lassen. I think Josh, if he can, he'll go for the win, but he's also made no qualms. He says, if I can push Matt Wagner into the win, that's what I want to do. So we'll see. We got 10 more to go with this one, Maxwell. Right now, it is the 8:25 and 07. Kind of just controlling this one once again. But like I said, I think everybody's just kind of taking a breather, regrouping, and wait for them. They're going to kind of hit after it here again soon.
With 3 laps to go, it's going to be absolute utter chaos in this pack. And some of them, you never know, they might have stretched that fuel number a little thin, maybe didn't quite get enough fuel. You know, we won't really know that till the end. And it's crazy maybe of me to say that, but I've seen that happen before where guys thought they had the fuel number right and were kind of off by just a little bit. Because remember, not all these guys came in with 17 to go like a lot of them did. A lot of them waited a while, so maybe they took a risk on how much fuel they actually dropped in there and maybe didn't have enough. You never know.
Yeah, I'm looking at pit lane time right now, and Jude Conrad of the leaders definitely had the quickest pit road time of 8.07 seconds. Kevin Freeze had nearly 12 seconds, 8.45 for Brian Wang, 11.65 for Vicente Guerrero. So, I mean, there's a 3-4 second range of pit stop lengths for some of these drivers here. So,
there goes Eric.
Yeah, there's definitely no guarantees here how much you wanted to risk it. Gabe had about 9 seconds, Jim about 8.28. So, yeah, there's a big swing of how much fuel these trucks put in there. Maybe some going for green, white, checkered. Maybe some just said, you know what, if I have to pit at the end, I'll pit at the end, but I'm going to aim for lap 75. So we got 8 more to find out here, Maxwell. And right now, like I said, everybody's kind of holding steady. I'm watching Gabe, though. He's starting to peek up to that outside line. He's got help from Josh Lassie. He's got help from Bud Steele. Not what Kevin Freeze wants to see in his mirror.
Absolutely. The 8 truck leading with 8 to go. Can he lead until the end? We will find out as we come off of turn 4. We're going to start taking 7 to go in the outside lane. Really getting spicy. Look at Vicente. He wants a win bad. He's going to do everything in his power to try to see if he can get one here tonight. So definitely doing everything he's got to do here. But really who I'm trying to see is, and I'm shocked hasn't made a move yet, is Matt Wagner in that 11. Really thought with, under 10 to go, he would really be trying to work his way to the front. But here comes the Vicente on the outside. It's going to get interesting, Gail.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect move by Vicente. He saw the momentum coming. It wasn't too fast for it to be dangerous, and so he slid up there and able to kind of let Gabe kind of ease to his bumper and get them rolling again. So that was the right move for him. He's able to now he was just about to line up with the 25 of Kevin Freeze. Now he's up there with the 07 and Brian Wang, and here goes that outside momentum. And this is why, Maxwell, I like that second lane. You get that great exit. You can open up the wheel of these trucks, and it really helps your exit speed. Of course, inside line, shorter distance through the turns, but I think on the exit is where, as long as these straightaways are, I think that's where the advantage is. So watch for the 14 to keep making gains here every time he gets on the straightaway.
Absolutely, and that inside lane losing a lot of its help. The outside lane's where everybody seems to be going. And you never know if someone ends up getting a big run and forming a third lane that they could get up here, but getting ready to come to 5 to go, and we're side by side now for the lead, but still pretty calm compared to what we saw after the pit stops ended. I mean, do you think we get back to 3 and 4 wide again before this is over, or do you think it becomes a 2-lane race to the end?
I think the third lane will form, and I don't think we'll see the fourth lane. I say what happened there was there was a lot of different speeds happening there at the same time. Trucks were catching trucks, and yeah, everybody's just like, well, that lane's blocked. I got to go to this lane, and then other trucks were trying to find where the momentum was, and yeah, that was hairy, but that was also super exciting to watch there. But right now, though, definitely kind of hats off to this top 3 on the bottom lane. They've been able to kind of keep that train going on the inside, holding Vicente at bay here despite Gabe's best efforts to push him up there. So right now Gabe is holding right around that 4th or 5th position depending on where he is and with Brian. But yeah, right now, and again, I don't think they're being full aggression yet. We still got 4 to go here at the line, but yeah, I think once you get to that magic about 2 to go window, or of course once the white flag flies, at that point everybody's going to be going for broke here. So we'll see what we got here, Maxwell. 4 more.
Just 4 remaining, not only in this race, but in this season of Superspeedway Truck Series action. The 8 is holding on to it with a push from Kevin Freeze, and Kevin trying to stay ahead of Gabe Butler. As they run, though, not a thing they can do to catch up in points. Gabe would be your champion at this point, and even if he finished last car on the lead lap, I still think he's got enough in it. So definitely not a race for the championship right now, but it is a race for the last win of the season. And that is always good momentum to carry into the offseason. And it looks like Dude Conrad is holding on to that for now, that bottom lane, really building up steam here with just 3 to go.
Yeah, no, Vicente had the best run he had down the backstretch, got to the door of the 8 truck, but then again, Kevin latched on and gave him all the push that he needed there to the end. So, like I said, 3 more to go here. Gabe's got a little bit of separation. You see how quick the 25 of Kevin Freeze gets right back on the dude. Gabe's a little bit slower to latch onto them. And look at that third lane. I can see the middle opening, and Matt's peeking, but so far no takers yet. But that's the opening we talked about. That's enough room for a truck to say, you know what, I can fit that. I'm going to go for that spot. So Vicente, Gabe, they're going to have to be careful not to give too much room, because someone will take advantage of that spot here if they're not careful in these remaining 2 laps.
And you think Wagner trying to go for his first ever Superspeedway win would not take that hole, especially in the last race of the season? Think again. The third lane is forming on the outside, but if they still leave that second lane open, someone would. Oh, and there's contact, and there's going to be a yellow. Seth Groover is around.
And I think that was the dreaded net code there. I saw it as it was happening, and there was a fair amount of gap there. And yeah, just unfortunately, it was that 3 wide we just talked about, and it looks like it was potential contact. Maybe not a lot, but just enough there, unfortunately, for Seth to get looped around there. I don't know how his brother was able to get around him. But honestly, I think Seth's going to get away with this fairly unscathed here. He's going to be able to grab a gear, get going. Not a lot of damage at all that I can see out of Seth's truck. So that is going to change a lot of things here, namely fuel, because Maxwell, on Green-White Checkered TV, we have 3 attempts of a green-white checkered, so we're going to get to that first one this time around. Those drivers that maybe took a little bit of extra fuel, like we think that Kevin Freeze and Vicente Guerrero possibly did, maybe they're good. Jude Conrad, Brian Wang, they had 8-second pit stops. They may not be good, because this caution came out just before they got to that 1 to go, when everything was about to kind of go wild. So who comes in, who does not? This could now be a fuel mileage strategy as well for who's willing to risk it, if you will, for that lucky dog.
Absolutely. And just real quick, we talked about net code, but if you watch this 071 gets really bad loose, and you see him chase it way up the hill. So even without the net code, I think he was on his way to hit him. It was just not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And then the brother helped send him the rest of the way around. So single car spin. That brings out the yellow, and now it's a very interesting race here.
Look at these trucks on the apron, Maxwell. The 8, the 7. We just talked about the 25-14. They're up on the track. They don't seem to be at all concerned. So I think this is exactly what we just talked about. I think these guys aren't certain about fuel. Looks like Dude is going to stay out. Brian is going to stay out. So they're going to hope that this thing goes under schedule.
Gabe Butler came in.
This could change a lot of things, but he's bringing a lot of trucks with him, though. He's got Jim Brooks, Josh Laston. He's got Austin Call. Who else is there? Todd Siebels, Ryan Decker. So there's a lot of trucks coming in with him. So that's a good thing for Gabe. If, like you said, if Gabe was the only truck to top off, I'd be more concerned. And I believe that the Lucky Dog should go back to this 5-10. Oh, maybe not if he was involved in it. But I believe Richard Sanchez should get his lap back if he was not involved in the yellow. We'll keep an eye out for him. Obviously, Eric Laurie was involved in that one. So he will not be getting that one. Otherwise, it would then go to Patrick Groover, but I think Patrick had contact with his brother there. So right now, nobody's claiming the wave around, so maybe nobody actually wound up getting it on that one.
They may not have, but I will reset some things for you here. This is interesting because Gabe Butler pitted that tells me he's not really after the race win as much as he is the championship. Knowing how many cars were on the lead lap, knowing it was a bigger risk to run out of fuel than to just take some, went ahead and came and took some and brought half the field with him. He's going to restart in the 7th position. That is perfectly fine in championship standings where he's at to restart there. But these guys up front, they stayed out because they are going for the race win. And if they pitted, you've seen how hard it is to pass right now at the end of this race. May not have a chance to win if you pit. So I think Gabe Butler, unless these guys run out of fuel, could have given up his chance to win and maybe even finish top 3, but definitely has the chance to win the championship with that move. So that was a championship call instead of a race call.
I think that's a take no risks, go for the championship decision there. Exactly right. But the other thing too is, I mean, it could still wind up being a race win decision, because if, let's say, someone makes another mistake before we get to that white flag, we have another green white checkered. At that point, I'm saying that those trucks that stayed out, they can't make it. I think they have to come in for another splash of fuel. And then even if we get to that third somehow attempt of a green white checker, then there's no chance. So the fact that those guys were running the apron earlier leads me to think that they're not too confident about the fuel. I think they say, we got enough for this one. I don't think they have enough for the remainder if there's any more of them. And you see Brian here, he is going to shortcut this track as much as humanly possible in this 07. I think Brian is definitely just maybe to the good to the end. And that's to this next end here, because we talked about lap 75 here, but we're getting up to lap number 77 right now. We're going to restart lap 78, so we're going to be going 80 laps now, so 5 more than what was originally scheduled.
And this is a long track. This is by no means a short track, so 1 lap is huge here. So even under yellow, they're still burning a lot of fuel. And you got to think of the speeds they're running. I mean, 220 mile an hour, like, this matters. So definitely could save probably quite a bit of fuel under yellow, but could also have to have a lot. And he's the only guy still running the apron here, so definitely concerning on the fuel number for him here. But going to reset it for you here. Dude Conrad still your leader. Kevin Free second. Brian Wang third. Vicente Guerrero fourth. And Matt Wagner still in the top 5. Could this be the night of all nights that he gets that first Superspeedway win? Guess we're going to have to find out here, as it's about to get interesting, guys.
Yep, and then now the next thing, too, is these guys got to figure out how are they going to get organized and get settled in here, because it's going to be all about that organization. Do the Boondockers go a little early to try to get themselves locked in? We'll see here, Maxwell.
Pace truck is off, and on Green White Checkered TV, we are having a green white checkered, and the green is out. Back underway. Kevin Freeze with a great start. Vicente on the bumper, but Brian Wang also on the bumper of the 8. It's going to be who sticks with who. I think Dude Conrad's in a great spot, because I don't think the 14 will stick with the 25, but we'll just have to see as they head into turn 1.
Yeah, right now, of course, the inside line has the advantage, the short distance round, while they build up speed, so that's where you want to be. You see Matt Wagner, he's got alongside the 14, Gabe Butler right there behind him. So far, everything looking great for the front drivers. Actually, Kevin Freeze now gets a great push out of 2. I think he's going to clear that 8 truck, and this is where maybe Gabe has to be a little more aggressive, but no, cannot clear. He's going to be pinned to the outside still of that 8. The question now, can they get through 3 and 4 and the front stretch without a yellow? Because if they will, this race will be official after they take that white. Oh, here he comes on pit road.
Oh, probably did not have enough. That's going to give it to Kevin Freeze here.
So he was able to get to the bottom.
So now what about Wang? Will he be able to make it to the end? But Dude led a lot of that event. Just wasn't quite enough, and the white flag is out. This is the last time around the track. They are now 3 abreast, and look at Matt Wagner in 3rd, and he's going to move up with Josh Laston, who said he's dedicated. We're going to see if they can make this work in that middle lane that you preferred. Vicente going to shoot high, but I think that middle lane could get the momentum if they try. It's going to be tight, but they're 3 wide for the race win here. We're going to have to see what happens at this point. But I don't think a few of these guys are going to make it back to the checkered flag. But coming out of 4, Kevin Freeze in the lead, but Wagner going to get the big push. Who will get it? It's going to be Kevin, and Wagner's going to finish 3rd, and a big crash here to end it.
That 80 truck there, I think it was Rudy Doden. He did a big barrel roll at the end. finishing with fireworks there at the end. But yeah, Kevin Freeze gets the win, did everything he could to try to win this title. Gabe's going to finish in 10th tonight. And the other thing to look for is incident-free race. Look for the 88. No, Gabe actually did get a 4X at the end of that one. So that would take away the bonus points as well. So we'll let the points results
Ooh, and
finish
he
up
finished
here.
10th.
I'm gonna be doing some math here, but it could be tight on this one.
I think we're going to see Gabe Butler come out with that championship, but Kevin Freeze got the 5 extra points for winning. Man, that's really going to be close.
Very close.
It's going to be within a point or two.
I'm gonna let you do the talking. I'm gonna start doing the math here because this is gonna be close.
All right, well, let's go ahead and see if we can do some of these interviews. Probably going to keep them a little quick here tonight since we will have a champion to talk to. So let's see if we can restack everything here and go back for this restart and see if we can get these guys in here to talk to. And the first one we're going to talk to, we got to find him here. And I'm actually not seeing our third place driver, Gaio.
Nope, I see him. Hold on, let me brag. I'm gonna bring him on over here. So there, he's hiding here.
All right.
Bragging our third place in here. Maxwell, I'll let you lead this interview.
All righty, time to talk to our third place finisher, Matt Wagner. And Matt, you can't ask for much more, right? You were there all race long, and you had a shot there at the end. That's just racing, but a third place finish to end the season. Tell us about your night.
Well, I made one bad mistake. I got caught speeding on pit road, and I got held for 40 seconds. I had the Jimmy Johnson horseshoe, I talked about for weeks, and the caution came out as soon as I came out pit road. So I'm like, where was that Jimmy Johnson horseshoe at Atlanta when I came so close to winning that race? So it was a great recovery from almost going a lap down. And at the end, I would like to thank my teammate, Josh Laston, and everybody at Closed Circuit TV, as you would say, for helping me and try to get a win in this series. And thank you guys. Without you, I would be nothing.
Absolutely, and you stole my thunder with the thanks and shout-outs there, but I will instead just give you one more question. What are you going to look for going into next season, and are you planning on trying to go for another Superspeedway win next season?
As the words, I ain't quitting until I get a win. I'll be back next season here in the trucks. Hopefully, huh?
No, I was just saying, Matt. I mean, I'm stepping on you. I'm sorry, but no, that was you. You did. I mean, obviously the pit road spinning didn't help, but I mean, you have the strategy there. You have the position at the end to be. I mean, I thought the middle lane was going to be where you wanted to be coming out of 4. You had your teammate Josh locked on behind you. So I mean, that was one of those ones where I feel like even though you didn't get the win, that's one where you definitely can keep the head held very high on that because you did everything you had to do. Just unfortunately, when you've got 2 of the best super speedway racers there on the inside line, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was a really, really good job there. And yeah, I mean, we won't lie. We'll say bias aside, we were definitely rooting for you. We love first time winners. Maxwell makes no surprise out of that one as well. So just, yeah, awesome job tonight, Matt.
Yeah. I thank you guys. I do appreciate it. I would love to bring in some new guys to take down these boot knockers because I get, you ever get one of those itches like you tired of seeing one guy win all the time, and it's like you want to beat those guys so bad, and you know what I mean. And it's just I think next season we're gonna have something for them, and we'll take them down.
Matt, I'll have my people talk to your people. We'll see what we can do. So, hey, man, great third place finish. Go celebrate with the team and celebrate on a great season. And, hey, that finish might have got you locked up. Y'all had a tight battle for 4th in points, and you might have just got that. We'll have to check that at the end and see. But great race, great third place. Go celebrate with your team, bud.
All right, Max. Gael, thank you.
All right. And yeah, I can confirm on the point side of things, Maxwell. Matt winds up finishing 5th, actually tied for 5th in the points with his teammate Josh Laston. So I'll say good company there to be for 5th in the points. But say now we're to bring up the runner up in tonight's race, that 07. And Same thing. It was an up and down race for Brian too, but was the up at the right time for sure. And yeah, I mean, it was a wild one there at the end. We didn't expect to see the 8 drop off onto pit road like he did there. And that kind of slotted Kevin right in front of you, Brian. I mean, just take us through the race, and then of course take us through that wild finish there with that late yellow.
Yeah, the race, it was quite quite a recovery drive for Kevin and I. We both were like a lap down, or I was almost a lap down at some point. We both got involved in the lap 2 wreck and had to use our fast repairs. And at that point, Kevin was towing, and he was a lap down. And then after and come to pit stops, I just threw it and got a black flag speeding. And yeah, I was like 40 seconds behind the pack. Wait, no, more than 40 seconds behind the pack. Barely like 4 seconds ahead of the leaders, trying to lap a few cars of us. And yeah, luckily I was able to stay on the lead lap. And yeah, when that caution came, it really just saved Kevin and I from going a lap down and being out of contention for the win. But and then we all got linked up, and we were putting down some pretty decent pace. And then the final pit stop, I almost threw it away again there. Coming into my pit stall, I overshot it by like half a pit box, and then I had to reverse. But what I did there to gain up the time I lost is I unchecked my fuel right when I was barely good to make it on gas. And yeah, obviously I was the third car in line for the whole last stint, so I was able to save a bit. And yeah, the final caution, the green white checkered, it was so close for me on fuel, but it worked out for me. And unfortunately, dude ran out of fuel. But yeah, Kevin and I, we came back from a lap down to get 1 and 2. So maybe next season, if we both stay on the lead lap, we'll lap the field or something.
And you took the question I was going to ask about how close you were on fuel. All these guys got all taking my questions from me, but I do have one before we send you off here.
They're seasoned vets now, Maxwell.
Oh, yeah. So you talk about next season. Do you have plans on running full-time next season? I know you had a part-time schedule this time, but what's your schedule looking like next season?
Honestly, I have no clue. Every time I always do partial season, and at the end of season, if I get a podium and get interviewed, I always say, oh yeah, I'm going to run full-time next season, but most times I barely do a race or two. So yeah, I have no clue. Maybe if the first few races turn out good for me.
All right, well, we'll see how that goes. But, man, great recovery from wrecked at the beginning to second place here tonight. Go celebrate, or give us a chance to hear any thanks and shout-outs you might have for this second place finish here tonight.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for being the broadcasters, everybody at Area 51, all the drivers, the admins, and everyone at Team Bootnaka.
All right. Well, Brian, go celebrate with the team, man. You know how it is when a season ends. Y'all have a nice, fun debrief down there and just kind of let loose and kind of party it up. Because I think regardless, we've got a Team Bootnaka champion here tonight. So I know you guys will be having a good time with that. So go down there and celebrate with the team. And then we'll catch you next season.
All right, thanks.
All right.
So I'm going to be bringing up our race winner and our season champion. However, it will not be one and the same, but it was close, Maxwell. 2 points at the end of this one tonight, separating Kevin Freeze and Gabe Butler. And I mean, is what we talked about there, the bonus points for having an incident-free race. Obviously, unfortunately, Kevin got caught up in that incident off of turn 2 right off the bat, pretty much. And then for Gabe, I'm guessing yours was at the very end there at the finish because everybody went flipping everywhere there. That cost you yours. But I think the first question for us, at least on my side, Maxwell, is going to be that late caution there, Gabe. You opt to go ahead and pit. Is that a championship move to try to keep yourself safe, or is that I'm not, even if we just get the one green white checker, I don't think I'm making that one either. I mean, because that was the surprise for Maxwell and I feel like.
I just didn't want to take the chance. And I think I lost maybe 2 positions. I was P5 going into the pits, and I came out P7, so it didn't hurt anything.
That was quick and easy on that one, Max. I'll let you lead over here.
All right, well, jumping over, we're going to kind of maybe play the back and forth game a little bit, but going to Kevin here, race winner. Man, right there at the beginning, you kind of got smashed up early, but then you came out and was able to get this win and stayed a lap down for a while. Was this a crazy race for you in that 25 machine, or tell us about it? Kind of tell us what you were going through. It seemed like a roller coaster of a race for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to write a script, I don't think you would include that on lap 2, but sometimes those things are fun because they make it so that you feel like you just race more aggressive. And I sorry if I irritated a few people in the race, but I had to do what I had to do to get back up to the front of the field there, and especially at that end run. After I got the lucky dog, I was splitting some people because they were leaving enough space to do it, like always doing it calculated. But I think it just motivated me to race a lot more aggressive than I typically would. And it was a lot of fun. I hit the whole time, though. I didn't think I had a shot at catching Gabe. And it came down to those bonus points. But I mean, this happened once before with Gabe and I in another season, and he came out ahead by 1. So he's pulling away on me.
Yeah, and that's the thing is bonus points. I mean, obviously the bonus points I see are for the best 11 of 12 races, with the one dropping during the season. But I mean, you bring up a really good point. I mean, obviously also he had a ridiculous season with the 7 wins. And that's actually, I think, something we should bring up is that this is your first win this season. I mean, you've been super consistent, 8 top 5s, 9 top 10s, to Gabe's 8 top 5s and 10 top 10s. But yeah, just the wins didn't come this season. And then, yeah, bonus points, 44 to Gabe to your 29. And I mean, I think, again, you were the second highest on the bonus points. So again, I think it just tells you, like, regular season and all, like, Gabe was a bit of a monster this season there. But yeah, I mean, you basically made him have to fight for every spot at the end, and we saw him moving around, trying to change lanes and everything. I mean, was that basically, like you said, when you kind of are in that situation, it's like, well, I know I can't points race now, might as well just go for broke? Or I mean, how is that the mindset that you just kind of gotta full on change it to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do now?
Yeah, I mean, because you don't have that bonus 3, I think it is, for the 0x,
Yep.
and those really do add up over the course of a season. Even in a playoff stretch, they add up, and I got caught up in a lot of stuff that was less than ideal. But that's going to happen. But once that was thrown out the window, I think you race differently because you're not trying to protect a guaranteed 3-point buffer that you're going to have. So you just race like, all right, I got to maximize what I have here. And see where it ends up. But I mean, it was a fun race. That after that final green flag pit stop, I thought for sure we were all going to wreck, but it was still a ton of fun. And we managed to not wreck where we were. And it was pretty impressive. It was a lot of fun mixing it up there 3 wide. I think we had a couple, maybe had a 4 wide. So that's what you like to see. Just a good battle with everybody. Like, I understand people sometimes want to respect the playoff drivers and all that, but the playoff drivers have to earn their keep. You don't just let them go. And they sure as heck didn't let us go tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And kind of switching gears over here to Gabe Butler, the last 2 races didn't play out quite like you wanted them to. Not the finish you're accustomed to having, but get the championship by 2 points over your teammate, and rightly so with the season you had. But my question, you know how I am, Gabe. I got to ask, how are you going to defend it next season? What do you have to do? You only won it by 2 points this time, so what's it going to take next season?
That's a good question, man. I mean, this was a team championship. It's always a team championship, but when one of us wins one of these things, it's a team championship. And I'd be a liar if I said I could go out there and get in a separate room and do it by myself. There's no way in hell I'd be lucky to even get in the playoffs. So as far as I'm concerned, team championship. I'd have no idea what I'm doing without the teammates. And I mean, that's it in a a nutshell. I mean, I'd love to come back next season and win it again, but yeah, I don't know. These guys in these trucks are getting a lot better. And like Kevin said, tonight's race was, I mean, it was a blast. The first pit stop we had was pretty sketchy, and I think Max, you were a little bit concerned about the race going into it, and I said, "Hey, we'll make it exciting for you," and I think we did.
Indeed, you did, Gabe. So, Gael, I'm going to give you the floor if you have anything else to ask them. But I think as far as I'm concerned, man, they've told us everything. They put on a heck of a show, didn't they?
Oh no, this is the race we were hoping for. Like I said, it was a little bit of everything. Great racing between all the drivers. Like Kevin said, it wasn't just the playoff drivers. There was no like red carpet treatment. It's like nope, I don't want to be any part of it. It's like, hey, we want to race, we want to win, and that's how I know that's how they want to be raced too. Because I mean, yeah, you get to that championship point, but at the same time, you want to still be able to earn it all the way through. So. No, I love that. I mean, super deserving winner, super deserving champion. I mean, these guys are top notch with Area 51, with Superspeedway racing in general. There's a reason why they're so good at what they do. But no, I'm like I said, this was I think about one of the best finales we could have had here for the season. And it's one of those ones too where you like to end on that high note because it just makes you so excited for the next one, the next season here in just a couple weeks time, which we got to figure out what that's going to be in a couple weeks time because we got a lot of decisions to make. We had a good truck count tonight with about I think it was about 19 starters, but we want to try to get up to maybe about 30ish or so ideally. So we're gonna have to get some brains behind the scenes, but yeah, Kevin, Gabe, I mean, you guys always are just top class drivers, and I say it's always a blast being able to see what you guys do week in week out, and sometimes sharing the track with you and getting snookered by Gabe on a late race move and things like that. It's just it's so much fun. But Maxwell, you better get your laps in, man, if you want to have a go at these guys because they're tough competition.
Yeah, retiring from the booth and getting back out here with them. It's been a few seasons, but we'll see what we can do. But guys, I'm going to give y'all both the floor. I'll start with Kevin since he's our race winner, and then I'll go to you, Gabe, as the champion. I'll give y'all the floor for any thanks and shout-outs y'all have for not only the race win, but the championship.
Yeah, thank you to you, Gail, all Chris, and Boomer for all the broadcasts you guys put on this season across all the series. These are fun to go back and look at and see. I think that 3 wide and those battles, because those guys caught us with a huge run out of that pit stop. Those are fun things to go back and watch and just see. Like, we have our perspective, but then we get yours. Thanks to the drivers for putting on a fun season. I think this was pretty gosh. It was competitive. We did a great job. Our team did, but it was not all of these wins were exactly easy. And thanks, of course, to the teammates. They made this season a ton of fun. We had even Sebastian pop into the booth, our room, tell me that I'm washed. I appreciate him for coming in, keeping me humble. I appreciate him. But thanks again to all the admin as well for the hours that they put in a week just putting this together, because these leagues they definitely do not run themselves. And congratulations to Gabe on the championship.
All right,
Thanks.
Gabe, and we'll hand it over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Again, it's a team championship here. Their team wins, so a massive shout out to Team Bootknocker. It's a great bunch of guys to race with. We all learn off each other, and we have a blast doing it. Of course, Area 51. I think it's a great league. It's one of the leagues I enjoy the most. The racing seems to be clean. It is clean, respectful, and it's enjoyable, and yet it's competitive at the same time. So it's a blast. And of course, you guys up the booth, I have to say you're really top drawer. I go back and look at most of the races that are broadcasted, but yours has the most in-depth stuff on it, the most knowledge. So it's and Kevin made a good point there. We've got our perspective, and then you guys give us yours. So it's always fun to, hear your side of the story, and that probably reflects some of the other drivers. And I would like to dedicate this championship to Jeannie. She's hanging in there. So thanks again, guys. It's been a blast.
Yeah, definitely give Jeannie her best. Gabe, always know that she's watching and supporting you. So definitely know we're all thinking of her and love her. And yeah, I'm glad she's able to watch these and support you as well in these ones. So yeah, definitely appreciate everything that you guys do for the league. Like I said, it's not just the racing side. I mean, obviously, I know you both spend a lot of time getting setups and everything to make these trucks drive better, race better, and it just helps put on the overall product as well. So, like I said, yeah, great job tonight, both of you, and definitely looking forward to seeing you come back here soon. But we'll let you go celebrate with the rest of your team, like I said, because definitely a team championship. So great job, you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Gael, that is our champions and race winner tonight. So definitely interesting season. A lot happening, right? A lot of things. Let's go ahead and let's look at our final order here. Let's see if we can look at these race results. Kevin Freeze gets the win. Brian Wang brings it home second. And Matt Wagner so close to a third or to a win. Just shy of it here tonight. He'll get one, I'm sure. Todd Siebels with recovery of the night, right? Coming from the back to the front and from pitting by himself and everything else to finish fourth. And Josh Laston rounding out that top five. Vicente Guerrero in sixth. Gary Winter seventh. Eric Laurie, not the night he wanted. Eighth place finish. Seth Groover in ninth. And Gabe Butler in that big crash at the end finishing 10th. Bud Steele in 11th. Rudy Doden 12th. Austin Call in 13th. Jim Brooks 14th. Dude Conrad in 15th position. 16th was Richard Sanchez. Ryan Decker in the 17th spot. Patrick Groover ran well all night long, just did not get that finish there at the end. And Brandon Briggs and Dean Wilkinson rounding out that top 20. So, Gael, another season down the drain. Feels like we just started, yet here we are at the checkered flag. What are your thoughts about how this season went, and what do you expect to see next season?
It was an amazing season. I'd say it was fun to be able to kind of do a little bit of both racing and broadcasting, can kind of get a view of both. And yeah, I mean, these guys, like I said, they're just top notch, and it's tough to even have a chance to get these wins. And it makes it, when you do get those, all the more enjoyable, and especially, like I said, when you don't have a chance at them as often. It's definitely something special. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, we got a couple weeks off here, figure out what the game plan is going to be. We will definitely be letting you all know as soon as we have some decisions, and definitely look for Area 51 to have some fun races coming up in the near future as well, to kind of get some recruiting going. So if you are looking for a league, you can find them at area51iracing.com. Link to the Discord and all that will be there as well. And of course, also you can find them at Area 51 iRacing on Facebook. And then, of course, us, Green White Checker TV, as well as YouTube and Facebook, although I'm not very good at keeping up with our Facebook page. I need to hire a media manager or something like that once we hit the big time. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the break, but at the same time, I'm excited to get back into it here in just a few weeks' time, because I don't know, there's so many options of what could change in honestly all three nights that we have going right now. So a lot could change with Area 51. Green White Checkered, I would expect to still see us here 2 nights a week, most likely Sundays and Thursdays. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what Season 2 has in store for us here in 2023.
Absolutely, a lot in store, and man, just a lot of great things we got to see, from our beginning there at Daytona down to the season finale here at iRacing Superspeedway. What an incredible season. It came down to 2 points to decide your champion. It's been a great time being with you here in your living rooms, in your homes, at your computers, each and every Thursday night. I know I had to miss 1 or 2, but it has been an absolute honor to be able to come here and bring you these races each and every week. I hope you guys enjoyed this season as much as we have in the booth, and we look forward to see what next season brings. Hope to see maybe some of you even on track with us. Remember, like Gael said, Area51iRacing.com has all the info you need. And obviously, if you have any questions, get with Gael Brooks. He can get you the Discord link and get you in here to see everything happening with Area 51. So, for one last time, for myself and Gael Brooks, we are signing off for the evening. We thank you for being with us this season. We hope you enjoy this Easter weekend. Remember what the season is all about. And for myself and Guy Brooks, we're out of here. We're off into the sunset. We're off into the off season. But I promise we will see you again next time.